Still no indication of when Kulula and British Airways domestic flights here will get back into the air. The operator, Comair, was suspended over the weekend, stranding thousands of passengers. Today, the trade union Numsa picketed outside the offices of Comair. They've demanded that the CEO be sacked. Our business reporter Kopano Gumbi, she was there this afternoon. She joins us now. Kopano, good afternoon to you. I mean, there's no doubt this has had huge knock-on effect. 40% of our capacity in our domestic aviation space suddenly grounded. What are workers saying? Why were they picketing outside the offices? I mean, don't they want to go back to work?
Workers are desperate to get back to work, actually, Stephen. And what the main reason they had gathered today is to discuss the CEO Glenn Orsmond's resignation. They're calling for him to step away from the business, irrespective of how they come out of this process with the CAA. They say his management has led them down quite a dark path. Many of the staff that were there, or the picketers that were there, are actually staff. They were taking time away from their day to try and just get the message across to him to say, well, enough is enough. We would really prefer that there's a change in management. Their key complaint is that not only are they now finding themselves in this troubling situation with the CAA, but that the retrenchment process has been going on for 2 years, and it seems like there is an indefinite end to this process, which is putting many of them at risk.
And what does he have to say about it all? He actually came and spoke outside.
Surprisingly, Glenn himself came out to receive the memorandum of understanding that they had drawn up, and he stood there patiently listening to the Numsa spokesperson shouting at him about, well, this is what you've done in the last year or 2 years since, and this is how workers have suffered, and 70% of their wages have been cut, with many benefits being removed. And you could see at some point when he finally responded that Glenn Orsmond was visibly shaken and quite upset at what the situation was. And in fact, when he was speaking about how we're just trying, we want everyone to work together, we're trying our best to have everyone back, or to have the flights back in the air, he was almost teary-eyed when we were looking at him as he was explaining to workers that we are terribly sorry for this inconvenience. We all want to be working again, but we are where we are.
So how did he put it? I mean, what did he say?
He said, to quote him sort of indirectly, he said, let's just focus on getting our airplanes back in the sky, and then after that we can talk about whether I should be removed or not. Now, that is the sentiment I think many people are trying to convey, to say, well, once we are out of the CAA grounding, the suspension has been lifted, then we really need to have a conversation with management about how this airline has been run in the last 2 years, and whether they will see a way out of it. And if any sort of management changes, leadership changes, would make a significant difference to the airline.
And Kopano, I mean, we all know during the pandemic, I mean, if you've been running an airline, it's been as tough as it could possibly be.
Absolutely, and that's another point, in fact, that Glenn raised. He said, you know, we all have seen what's happened in this industry over the last 2 years, and now with oil prices at over $100 a barrel, it's almost impossible to make a profit. Generally, airlines are working on very, very small margins. It's very difficult to make a profit. Lots of the state organizations and international airlines also get bailouts from the state, given that they are not allowed to, I mean, they cannot function and they cannot provide for themselves through sales, etc. And so Glenn was saying it's really, really difficult. And the business rescue process is ongoing. They had found themselves in massive amounts of debt, unable to just keep operating or to maintain their expenses in a way that they would find themselves operationally above board. And so now, with this added pressure that the CAA have suspended them, there's hundreds of millions of rands at stake.
Let's have a listen to what the man himself said today.
We need to be back in the sky as soon as possible. We would like to be back in the sky tomorrow, and then we need to protect the jobs, and then we can worry about me. But for now, let's get back in the sky. Let's work together. Let's make that our #1 priority. That tomorrow we fly our 10,000 passengers. We operate our 20 aeroplanes. That's the goal now. Sort me out later, but right now, let's get in the sky. We need to get back in the sky, and we can only do it if we all work together. We're on the same side. We care. We understand you care. It's been a tough year for you guys, for everyone. It's been an impossible year. We had COVID 1, COVID 2, COVID 3, COVID 4. We have oil at $100.